Hey all, Taylor Cobb here with yet again another Adobe After Effects tutorial, and today I'll be showing you how to create these three cool yet incredibly simple titles in which you can use either as an intro title or a lower third subtitle in an upcoming video project. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Open up a new composition. We'll go ahead and title it Simple Text, and we'll keep it at a duration of 8 seconds. From here, you can use any background color that you'd like. What I'm going to do is import a background of my choosing by coming over here to the project panel, double click, and then locate the file of your choosing on your computer. Once you have your background on the project panel, simply just drag it into the timeline. And one other thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lock the layer just as so we don't accidentally move the layer as we're working with our text. Next, come up here to the text tool and type out the word simple. And I'm going to change my font and up the pixels to 220. Come up here to the Align tab and we're going to align the center. And one other thing is we'll come up here to the anchor point tool, hold down Control, click twice to ensure that our anchor point's right in the center. Let's go to Effects and Presets, type in Drop Shadow, setting opacity to 90%, distance of 10, softness of 25. Next up, we're going to open up our layer properties. Come over here to Animate, click the Playhead button, and let's add a opacity, and let's add a position. Make sure that your playhead's at the beginning, lower the opacity to 0%, and create a keyframe. Next, we're going to adjust our Y position to 120. Now open up your range selector, go 1 second in time, set an offset value of 100%, make a keyframe. To go back to the first frame, simply click the home button, and then set your offset value to -100. Now open up the advanced properties here, and over here to shape, select ramp up, and change the ease low value to 100%. Next, we're going to add yet again another position animator, and it's very important that it has its separate animator under animator 2, and then set the Y position value here to -60. Now open up the range selector, go 5 frames in time, set an offset value of -100, and make a keyframe. Now go 1 second and 5 frames in time, and make the offset value 100%. Open up the advanced properties here. Once again, in shape, go ramp up, but this time, ease high value of 50% and an ease low value of also 50%. And here's where we're at right now. And now to have our text do the exact same thing, button reverse to close out the animation. A quick trick to use is time reverse layer. So to do that, we go right to the end. So 1 frame and 15 seconds will do. Click Control right bracket to trim up the layer there, and then Control D to duplicate. Bring right to the end, and then right click on our second layer, and come up here to time reverse layer. And then you can select both layers, Control Shift C, and we'll title it Simple. And there we have our first text animation. In our next text animation, what we'll simply do is go over here to the project panel, right click, new composition. We'll title this text title. And then from here, I'm going to import another background, bring it into the composition, and we'll lock it in place. Now we'll come up here to the text tool, simply type out the word text. And then for this animation, we'll want to make sure that our paragraph property is in the center. And then we're going to come up here to align. Once again, make sure that we're in the center here. Up here, the anchor point tool, hold down Control, double click. Okay, and then to keep consistent drop shadow from the last animation, what we can do is come over here to our first animation here, and then select one of these layers here, come up here to Effect Controls, right click on drop shadow, copy, and then we're going to come over here to the text title, and then Control V to paste. And now we have the same drop shadow that we had in the last title. Now we're going to open up our text layer, open up Animate, and this time we're going to add tracking. Now down here in Animator 1, let's add property, position, and then set the Y position value to 140. We're going to click the Add button one more time, Property, and this time we're going to add an opacity. Set the opacity to 0%, and now let's adjust our tracking amount, and we're going to bring our text in just before the vertices start to expand out again. And this might be different for you if you're working with different text or a different word, but for me, -140 is where we need to be. Now with our tracking set, we're going to open up Range Selector 1, make sure our playhead's at the first keyframe, and then make a start keyframe at the first frame. Go 1 second in time, create a second keyframe, and adjust the start value to 100%. Select both keyframes, right click, we're going to make them Easy Ease keyframes. Open up the graph editor, and then make sure that you've got Edit Speed Graph enabled. And now we're going to bring both handles inward, around 90% on both sides. And now this is the look we have. Now out of the graph editor, we're going to add yet again another animator. And this time add tracking. Now let's go back to 1 second in time. And underneath animator 2, we're going to create a keyframe at 1 second. From here, let's now go to 2 seconds in time. We're going to create yet again another keyframe here and adjust its value to 110. Then one other thing we need to do is select both of our keyframes here. Once again, we're going to make them Easy Ease keyframes. Open up the graph editor, and we're going to do the same thing we did on the last one. Influence of 90% on the left side and influence of 90% yet again on the right side. So now here's the look we've got. Close up your text layer, click U to show all keyframes. Select the first 2 keyframes under Range Selector 1, Control C to copy, and then right at 2 seconds in time, we're going to Control V to paste. And then with both of these keyframes selected, right click, Keyframe Assistant, come down here to Time Reverse Keyframes. And then with these final 2 keyframes, we're going to adjust the speed on these so that we have an influence of 30% on both sides. So now here's our final product. And now let's take a brief moment to ask for your input. What other post-production videos would you like to see me create for you? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to fulfill your requests. Alright, so for our third and final animation, I've already got our text loaded up. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and open up animations. Over here in the Animate tab, we're going to add a position, an opacity, and also a rotation. Make sure that your playhead, once again, is at the beginning. Set your opacity to 0%, your Y position value to 140, and rotation value of -90. Now open up your range selector. We're going to create a start keyframe at the beginning at 0%, and then let's go to 1 second and 15 frames in time. Create a second keyframe, make that value 100%. Select both keyframes, right click. Once again, we're going to make those Easy Ease keyframes. Open up your graph editor and adjust the influence to 60% on both sides. So here's the look that we have so far. Now close up your text layer, and with your text layer selected, click S on your keyboard to open up Scale. Create a keyframe at the beginning and set its value to 90%. Go 1 second in time. Adjust the value to 110%, and then at 2 seconds in time, bring that value down to 100. Select all keyframes, right click, Easy Ease, open up the graph editor. We're going to adjust our values so that they have an influence of 90% all the way through. And now here's the look that we have. At this point, select your text layer, click U once to open up all keyframes. Once again, we're going to copy our range selector keyframes by selecting both keyframes. Control C to copy. And then go to 2 seconds and 15 frames in time. We're going to paste it right there. With both keyframes selected, right click, Time Reverse Keyframes. Open up the graph editor and adjust the influence value so that they are at 30%. And so now here's our final animation. Once again, thank you so very much for sticking around to the end of this video. If you haven't done so already, please click that red subscribe button and tap the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you need to watch a couple other videos, feel free to check out any of these videos off to the side. And without any further ado, have a good one.